Oh, I forgot to turn the plant lights off. If the color is weird, it's because I have the plant lights. Hopefully the color's not totally freaking out here. Dagnabbit. Hey Wild Things. I'm busily working on some labor-intensive projects right now, like the promised red ritual. So in the meantime, I thought we could do something a little low-key. And with my last video, with the call-in show, I realized none of my callers actually got around to asking me any questions. I'm sure I'll have a discussion with Zach about that later. But for now, how about we just sit down, sip something good, and I just spill the tea on myself. Hi. Yeah? Can you sit somewhere? Yeah. Here we go. The answers to questions nobody asked for. I'm not sure the idiosyncratic details of my life are all that interesting, so watch at your own risk. Number 1. I'll just put myself out there right from the start. I'm sure this is no surprise to longtime viewers. I like animals more than people. I mean, I like you guys and most of my family, and I have friends I like, but humans as a group, like, ew. Humans are mean, rude, brutish, and they smell bad. I'm just not a fan. But most animals? Heck yes. I live with 4 cats. I feed the birds outside and bait the chipmunks and squirrels. They make excellent cat TV. And I enjoy seeing deer in my yard. I don't relocate the spiders in my house. I figure they're doing me a favor hunting down all the little creepy crawlies. All my life, I've loved opportunities to interact with non-human animals, and I've had a bit of a menagerie over the years. I even once fostered an emu for about a month. Long story. All right, number 2. There's no easy way to say this. I'm an old soul. I feel weird saying it about myself. Like, oh yeah, aren't I special? But it's no secret. I've been labeled this by others all my life. I'm not very comfortable talking about it because it's a real common flex for people in the spiritual community. I mean, that and being an empath or a twin flame. Have you ever noticed everyone wanting to claim to be one or both of those? Like, yeah, all of you? Really? Okay, sure. So I just feel weird. Like I'm one of those metaphysical movement groupies. But I did come in with some really persistent old memories. And in a lot of ways, I just really didn't have a childhood experience. So take that info as you will. But with my residual memories, I'm older than most of the dirt out there. And when I browse social media, I feel it. Number 3. I used to be a vegetarian. I'm still pretty sparing with the red meat and the poultry, but dairy and fish are staples. Part of what broke my resolve was getting a fuller understanding of the complexity of environmental impacts. But the kicker for me was one day I was holding a carrot, about to bite into it, and I remembered what I'd read about plants feeling pain and trees talking to each other, and like a light bulb. How is eating this carrot less cruel to the carrot than eating a fish is to the fish? This raw carrot, this imaginary raw carrot, is technically still alive and aware as I gnaw it to pieces. Why do we get to decide which life forms deserve ethical treatment? Every life matters, including pregnant ones, by the way. And as humans, very nearly everything we eat means something else dies. So I'm still searching for the most ethical way to feed myself. And it's just a very complex issue. But without going off on a tangent about all of that, yeah, I was a vegetarian for, 4 or 5 years, once upon a time. And number 4, okay. Sit down for this one. It might hurt your head a little. I'm Generation X. I know most of you may have barely even heard of us, but there is an entire generation between the boomers and the millennials. So, young people, stop freaking calling us boomers. We're not them. We generally don't like them either, most of the time. Heck, most of the boomers I know don't like boomers, okay? Now, my mother is a boomer, but she gets an honorary out. My nieces, who are Gen Z, have determined that she's a good boomer, and that no, Zoomers are gonna save this world. And I'm gonna hold you to that, kiddos. But I do plan on helping. I've been here waiting for y'all to finally show up. OMG, it's brutal here. Anyway, no pressure, but... Number 5. This one I do get asked. I've had quite a few viewers ask me what my astrological sign is. My sun is in Gemini, and for me, this is very accurate. My moon sign is Libra, and that's, I'm sure, where I get my rabid sense of fairness and my visceral intolerance for human apathy and rudeness. And I recently learned about my rising sign. Yeah, I've never had a formal chart done. Psychics actually get weird around me. Anyway, I was very surprised to learn that I am a Scorpio rising. But I do think that makes sense when I look at how I get very efficiently dangerous if I am in physical danger and pushed into a corner. I'll leave that there, and we'll move on to number 6. Okay, so I'm a little weary of talking about this one, but it keeps coming up. On average, about twice a week, usually in my DMs, usually men, will ask me, "Are you single?" But you know, that's not actually what they're asking, right? It's as though the fact that I am a party of one automatically means I'm anxiously looking to find a partner. So yeah, I'm single, but I am not available. So the better question, although not by a lot, is why do I stay single? If you've seen like my Valentine's Day videos, then you know. But if you haven't, I'll give you the short version. I treat myself a lot damn better than anyone I've ever dated has treated me. And I am over that BS. For me to ever consider letting a romantic partner into my life, they'd have to make it better with them in it. Yeah. Okay. So that's why I'm done playing the game. I'm way too old for these men to be thinking I'll jump for joy just at the asking. I value my emotional health and well-being. End of story. Go find someone younger and more optimistic and with less trauma and baggage. For reals. And FYI, YouTube is not a dating platform. Yeah, I said it. Number 7. My regular viewers, I see you out there, much appreciated. My regular viewers will already have noticed that I don't drink coffee. I don't get it. I've tried to try it a couple of times. I found it vile. I just can't understand the appeal. No tea, black tea in the morning and afternoon, herbal stuff in the evening, green once in a while just for variety. I'll drink tea all day if I'm sitting around the house. It just feels good to be sipping a warm, twiggy brew. Number 8. I'm probably the only child ever for whom the Magic Kingdom was a bitter disappointment. Yep. I was so bummed. I was no older than 3.5, and I knew that Disney World had a castle. I waited all day to see the castle. Yeah, all the other stuff was fun. It was actually a really good day. I was enjoying the rides, but a castle? I'd been waiting my whole life, my whole 3.5 years to explore a real castle. We didn't get to the castle until the very end of the day. It was after dark and everything was lit up. And I remember that we walked through what I thought must be underneath the castle. There was one big passage to the best of my recollection, but that was it. And then we were out the other side and I spoke up. You promised we'd see the castle. And my mother tells me we just did. That was the castle. And I came back with something like, no, all of it. And my mom's like, that was all of it. And so, at 4 years old, I learned how bitterly cruel the world is. Because everything is fake. The Disney castle was not a real castle. It was a tourist trap. And I collapsed into sobs, alligator tears. My parents announced to the group that I was tired. But no, my heart was broken at the disingenuousness of the modern world. I'm pretty sure I've never recovered, because every time I'm shopping and see a shirt with a cool design on it that doesn't carry onto the back, I suffer the same wound all over again. Admittedly on a much smaller scale. Okay, we're getting up on Halloween, so this is seasonally appropriate. Number 9. The houses I grew up on were pretty much all haunted. One of them so darkly, I used to think it was demonic. I'm sure I'll tell the stories eventually, but for now, I'll just note. When I was really little, it was a real problem. I was like that Sixth Sense kid with all these terrifying, mean ghosts all up in my business, and everyone thought I was just scared of the dark, with a rampant imagination. This is why I ward a house so thoroughly when I move in, and I evict anyone or anything that I find. And finally, number 10. And thank you for making it this far as I bloviate about my own largely dysfunctional business, by the way. Number 10. I have a confession to make. It's been years since I've admitted this to anyone. I enjoy black licorice and candy corn and PEEPS. If you don't like them, then don't eat them. We all have different taste buds, and it's okay. But if I have to tolerate seeing cheap beer, processed cheese, and catfish nuggets at the grocer's, then you can tolerate the existence of candy you don't like. In my opinion. Live and let live, folks. I put up with everybody's bizarre fascination with pumpkin spice flavored drinks when it really should just stick to the pies. Y'all can just deal with the fact that there are confections out there that don't please you. So there you go. 10 facts about Cypris that nobody asked for. I'm not sure how much of that is very easy for others to relate to, but you know, you guys often surprise me and I'm curious to see what you think. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep yourself wild. No! Like Generation Z even knows what this is. What did I do? There we go. Settle down. You gonna settle down? There we go. What did I do? Can you settle down, please? It's not, right? You're very distracting. This is not pet cat time. This is cat sits down quietly and waits for me to be done time. Yeah? Okay, that's really starting to annoy me. Just sit. Good job. Good job. But humans as a group? Okay, you gotta stop running in front of my face. Yes? I'm probably the... Oh, you're hitting the... Babe. You're hitting the tripod. Be my baby. Be my... Nope. That was a negative. All right. Well, don't hit the tripod. Off the tripod! I'm still pretty sparing with... Don't hit that. Don't hit the tripod. It shakes everything. Ah! You've just got to stop. I love you, but it's too much, okay? I'm gonna beat your little ass.